Cleaning up after Kirtland, a proposal for the remediation of the Kirtland Air Force Base jet fuel spill. Although there are a couple supervising entities, Kirtland Air Force Base is ultimately responsible for the remediation of the oil leak. The Kirtland Air Force Base oil spill is a large-scale contamination event that cannot be ignored. Any remediation will be costly and time-consuming, but it is absolutely necessary. Carcinogens stemming from the jet fuel leak have seeped into soil and groundwater, and they must be removed before they spread far enough to poison Albuquerque residents. No one remediation technique can sufficiently clean up this environmental catastrophe. Schulke Microbiological Quality Management has done extensive research, and we have drawn up a multi-step plan for the purification and protection of Albuquerque's natural resources. Kirtland's underground pipeline has been leaking jet fuel since its installation in 1950. The leak was discovered and plugged in 1999 after fuel rose to the surface at a loading area on the base. It is estimated that 24 million gallons of jet fuel leaked in that 49-year span. In early 2015, Schulke MQM compiled a report detailing the extent and ramifications of the spill. The leak has created a contaminant plume that is estimated to be at least 5,600 feet in length. Some estimates place the fuel leakage amount as high as 24 million gallons, an amount approximately double that of the famous Exxon Valdez oil spill of 1989. Although the plume continues to spread deeper into the Albuquerque freshwater supply, it is estimated that it could take upwards of 6.3 years to reach a point where contaminants would pose a significant threat to resident health. The contaminant plume has moved from the spill site, located here, down through the soil and into the groundwater. Non-aqueous phase liquid, technical jargon for jet fuel, has sunk below the water table and begun to dissolve into the groundwater aquifer. The carcinogen plume is flowing with groundwater towards Albuquerque pump sites, where residents get all their fresh water. EDB is ethylene dibromide, and it is one of the most dangerous carcinogens found in the plume. EDB and benzene present the largest risk to human health, as demonstrated by EPA guidelines. The parts per billion values in this table represent the highest level of these chemicals that the EPA considers non-threatening to human health when consumed. Health effects vary, but are all quite serious. Current remediation efforts have managed to slow the spread of the contaminant plume admirably, and it is now time to begin a more aggressive remediation plan. Schulke MQM can provide the Air Force with the most effective route to complete remediation. Our efficient four-part plan is the best way to accomplish the Air Force's cleanup goals. The first step is to remove and treat contaminated soils near the fuel source through soil excavation. Soils saturated with carcinogens are manually removed and treated before being returned to their original location. This eliminates one of the most concentrated threats to local resources and human health. Soil vapor extraction in conjunction with air sparging removes contaminants from areas where lower contaminant concentration levels make manual extraction and treatment impractical. In this process, injection and extraction wells are established at strategic points throughout the soil plume. Air is injected into the ground below the contaminant plume, where it pushes contaminants up into the extraction well. Poisonous vapor is run through a treatment facility and released back into the atmosphere once purification is complete. The pump and treat process targets contaminated groundwater in much the same way that soil extraction targets contaminated soil. Once carcinogens are dissolved in the aquifer, the only way to remove them is to remove the water and purify it in an above-ground facility. Extraction wells draw water into a pipeline that leads to the above-ground treatment facility. Once purification is complete, the newly clean water is discharged back into the aquifer. Remediation is a very expensive process, with the pump and treat process being very costly in terms of recommended practices. Overall, we estimate that remediation will cost upwards of $475 million, with Pump and Treat contributing $470 million to that figure. While this is expensive, in terms of oil cleanup and remediation processes, this is not unheard of, and it is the responsibility of the Air Force Base to harness these techniques to clean up the spill. Our plan will eliminate the threat that this massive carcinogen plume presents to Albuquerque resident health. In a time when fresh water is scarce, it will also conserve precious water supply and eliminate the need for Albuquerque to import expensive fresh water from elsewhere. In addition to fulfilling the Air Force's legal responsibility for remediation, our plan is aggressive and efficient enough to rehab the negative public image that this spill has brought upon Kirtland Air Force Base. In summation, the Schulke microbiological quality management team can quickly and efficiently handle this problem for you.